What's going on, YouTube? This is Son of Zion, aka Walking by Faith, and I'm making this video because Abba Father dropped a word in my spirit, and he also wanted me to give a brief testimony as well, and my journey from childhood all the way up until now. So the word that he dropped in my spirit, the word is this: you were set apart for such a time as this. You were set apart for such a time as this. So, just to give a brief backstory of my journey, starting from childhood straight through to adolescence, all the way up until now. I grew up to a single parent household. I was from a worldly standpoint, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I was blessed. As I grew up, I figured out that Father God set me apart, and because during my middle school years, straight up into my adult years, this became very prevalent. And it became very clear to me, and at one point I didn't understand it until Abba Father revealed to me why things went the way they went. In middle school and high school, all the way through my adult years, I always tried to fit in, but for whatever reason, no matter how hard I tried to fit in, I could not fit in. I was always looked upon by my peers as weird, as strange. Nobody understood me, you know what I'm saying? And I was the black sheep, or the social outcast, if you will, amongst my peers. And I always thought that something was wrong with me, because, during my middle school years, all my peers were going out and hanging out and smoking weed and drinking and hanging out at each other's houses. And I was never invited. I was never accepted. I was always rejected, So for the longest, I just thought something was wrong with me, I now know that Abba Father set me apart. So, moving forward, my mother, she passed away. She passed away back in 2008. And that was the hardest pill that I had to swallow. I did not allow myself to go through the grieving process for a whole year, which in turn was bad, because it literally took me almost 6 years to come to terms with the fact that she was no longer amongst us and that I would never see her again. It was hard. It was very hard. It took me almost 5 or 6 years just to be able to speak about her without breaking down and crying. But not to get off topic. So after my mother passed away, I ended up moving from Florida, where I was born, to Ohio. And everything continued. I was not accepted. I was misunderstood. I was treated like crap. I was rejected. And I didn't understand why. Me and my family, we don't mesh. We're like water and oil. We don't mesh. They were very toxic, and I just chose to separate from them because of how they did me. They did me dirty. They used me for money, amongst other things. I'm not going to get too deep into it. But nevertheless, so pretty much my whole life, I've never had friends. I never had family. I've always been a loner. I've always been a weirdo. I've always been quirky. I just, I always been set aside by Abba Father. Even now, I'm in isolation right now. Abba Father has set me apart, and He wants me all to Himself, rightly so. So, but to go back a little bit, I was living in sin, and I was shacked up with this young lady and whatnot, and throughout it all, Abba Father set me apart, and Abba Father was with me, but nevertheless, when I was worldly, I was shacked up with this young lady, and I could feel Abba Father pulling on me, for months and months and months. I cried out to Him, Abba Father, please use me as a willing and able vessel to glorify Your name. Be it unto me according to Your will and Your word. And so I could feel myself starting to go through a transition and whatnot, and He delivered me from so many things. I used to snort cocaine. I used to drink alcohol. I used to fornicate. I had a very, very bad pornography problem. I used to curse like a sailor. I was worldly. But He delivered me of all these things, especially cursing. I can't curse no more, and through the grace of Abba Father, He took that out of me. He took that out of me, and He put more of Himself in me. So as I'm going through my journey, and as I'm going through my transition and my walk with Him, He's doing a deep cleansing on me, and taking out all these worldly things that are not of Him, and replacing it with more of Him. Just like when I was in that situation with that young lady, He dropped it in my spirit that I was unequally yoked. And He was closing the door on that. He was starting the separation process, me and this young lady started to drift further and further apart because Abba Father was getting ready to call me out on all my prayers after I prayed and cried out to him for months. Every night, every day, I asked him and I prayed the same prayer. Well, one day he came for my words and he called me out. I remember it just like it was yesterday. He came to me one day and he said, "You see this? You see all this right here? These are all the prayers that you cried out and prayed to me, and you thought I didn't hear them. Well, here, that's all that, those are all those prayers right here, and I'm coming for your words. Now, I'm calling you out. So, choose, and choose wisely, and choose now." I'm like, wow. Huh. I didn't give it a second thought. I said, "It's yours, Abba Father. Be it unto me according to your will and your word." And immediately he thrusted me right into it, you know, because one thing that I will say is everybody is at different points in their journey and their walk with Abba Father, but we all go the same way. We all go the same way. Okay, he's going to cast you out into his wilderness, or out into your wilderness, and he is going to start training you to depend on him 100%. And he's going to start depositing more of him into you. And he is going to prune. He is going to prune and pluck and take away and give and do all these things to you. You know, he is the potter and we are the clay. Okay. And, you know, it goes back to that story in the Bible of the potter and the clay. Okay, he is the potter and we are the clay, and he is going to mold us into how he wants us to be. Okay, if he sees any blemishes or any discrepancies in us, he's going to break us down. He's going to break us down, and he's going to form us all over again. Okay. But if you are rejected, if you are misunderstood, if you are not fitting in, it's within good reason, because that is Abba Father setting you apart. Think it not strange. Think it not strange that you are being pulled out of this world, because we are not to conform to the ways of this world. Think it not strange when you go through fiery trials, or when Abba Father throws you on that brazen altar and burns you up, and burns up all the impurities that are not of him out of you. And I'm saying all of this because I went through it myself. Okay? I went through the process, and you have to trust in the process. And it's a painful process. It's gonna hurt. But in the end, you will come out as pure as gold. Okay? So, you know, don't think it's strange that you don't fit in, you know. Don't think it's strange that you might consider yourself to be a weirdo, or that you're rejected, because I mean, even Messiah he was rejected in his own town. You know, he said it himself, a prophet is not accepted in his own town. If the world hates you, just remember they hated me before they hated you. So count it as glory, and count it as a blessing and not a curse. Okay? So, but yeah, you know, like I said, I never, you know, I don't, I really, I have a very small circle of people that Abba Father put into my life to help me with my journey. But I don't deal with very many people. I don't deal with very many people. You know what I'm saying? Just because of, because I've been used, I've been abused, I've been betrayed, I've been stabbed in the back by a bunch of Judases. Everybody in my life, in one way, shape, or form, has been a Judas and has stabbed me in the back with that dagger. But nevertheless, I forgave them, I moved on, and it's made me a better person. So the whole purpose of this video was because Abba Father, he wanted me to let you know that you are set apart for such a time as this. And he also wanted me to give a brief testimony as well that coincides or that correlates with this word. I guess somebody needed to hear this, you know, because of where they're at in their walk right now, and they may not be understanding what's going on with them. So he wanted me to clarify with this video. So I hope this blesses someone, and I hope and pray that this will give you better understanding. So with that being said, I love you as all my brothers and sisters in the body of Messiah. Father loves you. Father bless you. Father keep you. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.